Hello everyone, welcome to Red Men News. It's Monday the 13th of January. Probably should have said that before we started. Anyway, I'm Ross Chandler, this is Jack Gill, Matt is on the ones and twos. We are brought to you in association with Red Men TV. As you can see on your screens right now, loads of content going on the redmentv.com. Loads of post-match stuff for the Spurs game. There's an instant match reaction out there. The final word will be out very soon. And then we've got loads of build-up, regular content. Around the League podcast will be out. Chris is doing the stats and tactics, which is a favourite on the redmentv.com. Loads of in-depth stuff, so if you like your analysis stuff, we've got you covered with that. It's all available in podcast form as well, so you can download it and listen to it on the go. But you are, of course, here for some news. And we're going to start with Jack. Nat Phillips has gone back out on loan to Stuttgart. So basically, he got him back, he beat Everton, knocked them out of the cup, and he's gone again.
Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, I did have some thought that this would be the case when it first happened. If you read the article that Liverpool first released when he rejoined us, it did say that he was likely to go back to Stuttgart on loan. But it's just brilliant, isn't it? Came one game, one win for him. Was on the bench at the weekend as well, of course. So he has been that utility player that we sort of needed at that time. We had two fit centre-backs, Joe Gomez and Van Dijk, obviously. Both of them have played a lot of football, and Gomez has a few injury concerns every now and again, doesn't he? So it was nice to bring him back and have an experienced player in there rather than throwing Van den Berg in there or Højbjerg.
It's a good foresight by the club, isn't it, to go, actually, you know, we are short of the fact we're getting back, and even for Stuttgart to actually, you can have him back for a couple of weeks. I think they're still on an international break, possibly. I might be wrong on that. But from a youth perspective, obviously you and James cover youth stuff on your YouTube channel. Was there ever a moment where you thought he might come back and it might be good progression for him to stay around the Liverpool camp? You know, with some of those youngsters, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Nat Phillips looked pretty solid against Everton to me, where I kind of thought he would benefit from just hanging around the squad.
I think it would have been good from Liverpool to bring him back to help with the progression of Sepp van den Berg. I think obviously we paid money for him in the summer. He was meant to be quite a big signing for us for the future, 3.5 million I think it is. It was for him, and he's not lived up to that as yet. And I know it takes young players time to settle in, but it has been a bit of a concern for me. And I think with Nat Stewart in there, 22, he's been in the under-23s for a while. I think it would have been helpful for a player like Sepp van den Berg to have him alongside him for the latter end of this season.
Cool. Let us know your thoughts on any of the subjects that we cover, that one and thereafter. You know, Nat Phillips, would you have kept him around the Liverpool camp? Would you let him back on loan? He seems to have been playing really well. For Stuttgart, we were in Bundesliga too, so maybe, you know, he's happy there, he's settled, get him back next season and, you know, keep him from then on. Moving on, Fabinho issues fitness update. Fabinho has revealed he's feeling good as he continues to take encouraging strides with his rehabilitation from an ankle ligament injury. Speaking to Telefoot, Fabinho said, "My ankle is getting better. I trained by myself this week. I was working with the ball again. I feel good and confident." This is brilliant news because, you know, we're going up against Manchester United this weekend, as we all know. But just going to the last 3-4 months of the season, everything's going pretty well at the moment. We're breaking records left, right and centre. Just to be able to go for Fabinho, who was one of our best players for the first part of the period of the season, he's coming back. He's just great news, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, Fabinho is such an outstanding player that obviously walks straight back into the team. But with how everything's going at the minute, some people might feel that it would be difficult for Fabinho, and if it wasn't a player of his calibre, then I'd completely agree. But he's going to slot straight back in, isn't he? And it's just brilliant at the minute because we know that at the time when Fabinho got injured, everyone thought, well, this might cause problems for us, but we've been absolutely fine without him. And
no one's been crying out for him, have they?
No.
I remember that mindset, thinking, Christ, like a big busy fixture list, we're going to miss him. But not only is it Fabinho coming back and filling that DM spot, it also helps Jordan Henderson to go back further forward, and then you're not stressing, you know, Jimmy Henderson. Katie's been injured quite a lot. Chamberlain's obviously coming back as well. But again, in terms of rotation and stuff, you can put Jordan Henderson in DM if Fabinho needs a rest, and equally Henderson can go further forward.
Well, Klopp loves that balanced midfield as well, doesn't he? And that's what's been working for us over the last 2 seasons. So I think we've done well without Fabinho, but I'm glad that we've got him back, and now we can push on and make sure we win this title.
Fabinho has also been talking about Kylian Mbappe. You'll all be pleased to know. bad bit of beer on that. Fabinho wants former Monaco teammate Kylian Mbappe to join him at Liverpool. He was quoted as saying, "I would welcome him. He will have a Ballon d'Or before Neymar." Liverpool midfielder Fabinho wants PSG superstar Kylian Mbappe to join him at Anfield. Both players were together at Monaco, as you just said. And Fabinho is now seeking a reunion with Mbappe again. He told Telefoot, "I will welcome him at Liverpool," and that is the only quote. So therefore, make of that what you will. He did go on to say that he rates him as a player. He thinks he'll get a Ballon d'Or before Neymar. It's just a passing comment to me, this, isn't it? Which obviously gets blown out of proportion by the media and stuff like that. But also, it does also help in our favour in the sense if he's got people that he used to play with that rate him highly. I still think there's a small chance it could happen. I'm not me being stupid or optimistic or whatever, but I love Mbappe and the way that he plays. I think there's certain plays of mentality, and Tom talks about his ego, a reason why he doesn't want him. But I think this is a separate case for me where someone who's so good, so young, has got so much talent. I think you can go and afford to go and spend the big bucks on him.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Mbappe is a generational talent, like Trent, and I think that to have him in the side would just step us up even more. And we're breaking record after record at the minute, but with a player like Kylian Mbappe, we're smashing even more. Like you say, it would be very difficult to pull it off. He'll be on a very high wage. It would probably...
That's the stumbling block, isn't it? And we're going to record the Iran League show later on. The thing that got revealed was Manchester United's wage structure, and just part of the reason that they're in a mess. That's the only reason why I wouldn't want to, because they're on a high wage. Liverpool are very good at this, of saying, if your demands are high, you haven't got the mentality that we want, we're not interested in you. That's the big stumbling block, isn't it? Don't go and break your wage structure to piss off 10 to 15 other people.
I agree with that, but I think the whole idea of the Nike thing, and I'm not completely sure of this, but I think the whole idea with the Nike signing was that they want us to sign players of Mbappe's calibre and that sort of star players. Therefore, would they be paying part of the wage? I'm not sure, and I think if that was the case, then we'd be able to.
So you subsidise it through Nike?
Yeah, of course, and I think Klopp is obviously a massive fan of Mbappe. He said it several times before, so I think he'd love that too. But it's just whether, as I say, I think we'd need Nike's help with that.
Yeah,
to make it.
I think my other point for having him would be you would secure yourself for 5 to 8 years of having Mbappe inside, and you're preparing yourself for, if Salah leaves, if Firmino leaves, or whatever, you've still got someone in place. Then you don't have to go and spend the ball. Anyway, Aston Villa's Jack Grealish will walk into this Liverpool side. That is according to Andy Gray. He says he's better than Naby Keita and Gini Wijnaldum. I know he's a Villa fan and his family are all Villa fans. He loves the club and he loves being a captain. Gray told beIN Sport. But Jack's 24 now. I think there's a decision coming to the end of the season, and I hate to say it, but I don't think he'll be there in August. If I was a coach of any of the top 6 sides, and I include Liverpool in this, he would make them a better team. He is, in my opinion, better than any of Liverpool's midfield players. I think he's better than Keita. I think he's better than Wijnaldum. I think he gets to the City side, he's much better than Foden. I think he's just that good. But for a start, Foden hardly ever gets into Man City side, so he's talking shit. And the other part of there, he's better than any Liverpool's midfield. Right, I think he has a point when he talks about he's better than some of Liverpool's midfielders in the sense of maybe technical ability. Or flair, sorry. Jordan Henderson isn't a flair player. Wijnaldum isn't really a flair player. But they're goddamn better than Jack Grealish in terms of the work rate ethic, the job that they do in the system for Liverpool, all the stuff that's required to play for Jurgen Klopp in this Liverpool side. The Liverpool players are better than Jack Grealish in that sense.
I think Xherdan Shaqiri is better than Jack Grealish. Personally, I'd go that far. I know Jack Grealish is a very good player, but I think he stands out because compared to the rest of that team that he's in at the minute, who are all abysmal, I think he's not actually that good. I think he'd be a good squad player for us, like I just said, as Shaqiri is, but it's whether he's willing to just sit on the bench and be that sort of player that maybe gets on in a game to create an impact or have a different style of the way we play. I think in terms of looking at teams like Tottenham, Man United, he probably would get in teams like that.
Because they're poor.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he would step up our squad much at all. Don't get me wrong, good player, but I don't think he's as good as daft people like Andy Gray make out.
Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, Champions League winners, 98 points, loads of points. I think you're right. I think he probably sticks out in a poor Aston Villa side. Spurs you get into because Spurs don't really have a midfield currently. Chelsea, they've got a decent midfield.
I think John McGinn is better than Jack Grealish. I'd rather have John McGinn than him.
I do like the way he plays in the sense of he's a bit like Chamberlain, isn't he? You know, he picks the ball up, you know, in high areas, and he can drive at the defence and kind of create. I like that side of his play. But to say that he's better than Naby Keita, which statistically he clearly isn't, because there's an image doing the rounds at the minute of, I know Keita is injury prone, but he's not better than Naby Keita.
You look at this, he can't even get an England caller at the minute, so there must be something, and his attitude's not right. I don't think he'd be willing to sit on the bench for us.
Has he decided who he's playing for? Who knows? Anyway, we'll move on. Luis Suarez set to scupper Liverpool's January transfer plans as Reds eye £90 million deal. Liverpool are reportedly keen on signing Barcelona forward Ousmane Dembele this January transfer window, but an injury to Luis Suarez may make things a little more difficult. Suarez picked up a knock inside Supercopa de España semi-final defeat by Atletico Madrid in the Jeddah on Thursday, and is facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Barcelona confirmed Suarez will be out for around 4 months. Moving on, obviously Liverpool will limit Dembele over the weekend, according to reports in Spain. Liverpool have been eyeing a deal for out-of-favour Barcelona forward Ousmane Dembele. The £90 million weighted Frenchman has made just 9 appearances in all competitions in Barcelona this season. Lionel Messi, Griezmann and Suarez all ahead of him in the pecking order at the Nou Camp. The Dembele stuff, Jack, came as a bit of a surprise to me. A, because I don't think we do much business with Barcelona. I think they're very much still annoyed with us psychologically and mentally. They seem to have nearly lost in the semi-final there to Atletico Madrid. Still very much having the effect on them. And the manager might be going. I think, you know, there's rumours of Xavi coming in, so he'll have his own ideas of what he wants to go and do. But I don't, you know, we've spoken about Mbappe there and spending, you know, upwards of £90 million on him, because I think you're right. I think generational talent was the right word to use. I don't see that with Dembele. He's gone to Barcelona, hasn't really kicked on. If he was anywhere near that price, if he was that good to match his price, they wouldn't have gone out and bought Griezmann.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think the links with Dembele is only because people know that he's been linked to a club before. I think it's weird because I know Dembele suits Klopp's style of play. I know obviously they get on, but obviously in recent times with this whole Barcelona thing, and since he's been at Barcelona, I know he's had problems with his attitude at times, and Klopp obviously doesn't get on well with players that have bad attitudes. And personally, I wouldn't pay 90 million for Dembele. I don't think we will either, so it is very interesting, but I think it definitely won't happen now because of the Suarez thing.
You're right about that mentality stuff of Klopp and, you know, Michael Edwards and everyone else who's behind. I think Michael Gordon is the other fellow kind of go, we don't tolerate that stuff, but the thing to remember is that, you know, people talk within football. Like, you know, he's at Dortmund, pop up on the phone to people going, you know, what was he like? What, you know, you're right, his attitude, like, I probably wouldn't even waste the time with it, really. Going, oh, I don't want that, I can go and get someone else, maybe, you know, a Jadon Sancho or an Mbappe, or just go and pick someone out of thin air.
Sancho's been equally as bad, hasn't he? He's been fined for being late to training and all sorts.
But also, I think there is Klopp's very understanding of human emotions.
Yeah.
And if he feels like he could tailor someone or help them adapt, you know, people are young and angry. I think we're all guilty of making mistakes or being very angry when we're teenagers or you know, younger. You know, I think he could help them in that sense. Anyway, last story before we get some of your comments. Adam Lallana reveals secrets to improve fitness record as Liverpool midfielder as Man United starts. Something we spoke about on the final word, which will be out on the main Red Men YouTube channel later on, was Adam Lallana, his fitness, and how he's putting in great performances of late. And I alluded to, it might be the mindset of people write him off because of what's been before the past 2 seasons. We've been injured. We relied on him 2 seasons ago, and we had, you know, Gini, Hendo, Milner in midfield. Whereas now, you know, we can have him when we want him. Yeah. If, you know, Rugani says we're not relying on that sense. Are we being managed properly?
Yeah.
Go on.
I think he's been outstanding, especially in that Everton game. I think he's been outstanding since coming back, and obviously it's always good to have him in the squad. I still think he'll leave at the end of the season. I think obviously his contract runs out. I think he knows that he's still a very good player if he can keep himself fit, and I think he probably thinks in terms of him getting into this Liverpool side now, he's getting less game time. He's coming to the part of his career where he's wanting to find a club where he can probably still get as much game time as he possibly can to ensure that his career is as long as possible. But as I say, it's good this season to have him in and around the squad, and that he can come off the bench and produce performances like he did against Tottenham, because as you said, he was very good and he had a positive impact coming on the pitch and helped us get that win.
Even when he starts, I'm kind of alright with it now, to be honest with you. But there's people that are prepared to be in there, but he starts. It's not Twitter's head doesn't fall off at Adam Lallana starts anymore, which is probably the best.
His impact on the young lads in that Everton game was superb.
Yeah.
You know, the way he stood out as the leader. When Milner went off, it was like, oh, there's only Adam Lallana really on the pitch now that is the leader, and he did his job, and he took the armband and he motivated all those young players through the match, and we ended up beating them. So
just some quotes from Adam even. He's just training harder. When you're not playing, it's hard to perform, maintain your fitness levels to come back and be able to perform in this team. So you have to train harder, train stronger and make yourself ready. Keep on top of everything. So when you're called upon, you can deliver performances like last week, which Everton, you mentioned there. But it's not just for me, it's for all the lads and even the kids too. Credit due to everyone. I just want to contribute as much as possible. At times you've got to be patient, and that's it. I just take it. Another good week training, train hard, look to perform, and hopefully be the start of the weekend. I think that comes back to what you were saying there, Jack. It's one thing being fit, and maybe, as you alluded to there, playing for another club. But if he knows he's not starting every game when he was a regular starter under Jurgen Klopp, to have that mentality, we talk about the mentality of Liverpool players of going out and winning stuff, but to have someone of Adam Lallana's quality of being alright with being a squad player now, I think is a compliment to Jurgen Klopp and Adam Lallana.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is, and as we say, at the start of the Jurgen Klopp era, he was our best player probably. He put in performances where he worked very hard, and I wonder if that's what caused his fitness problems, because of how much he gave every game, every training session, and obviously with his body getting older as well, that may have contributed in it. And actually the lack of regular game time at the minute might be helping his body, and that if you throw him in for a couple of games in a row, that's where he might struggle again.
Yeah, he's been controlled, isn't he, which is the best bit. Let's get to some of your comments anyway. Matt, when you're ready.
Yeah, just following on from what you were talking about with Lallana, Ryan Heelan saying he's genuinely so proud of Lallana to come back and perform how he has. He'd still replace him with Cantwell in the summer though, that's an option. Joey Murray as well. Lallana's a great sub to come off the bench, similar to Millie. Comes on in matches like Spurs and controls the tempo in the game. Great option to have.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. I think ultimately you are looking to replace him. I wonder if Minamino's kind of a part of that. You know, he plays high press, high intensity football, which, you know, I think you're right, you don't always get out Adam Lallana. Right, he's injured again. So that's when the frustration grows of not having him there. Whereas now you think, Lallana's on the bench, sounds, as the comment says, 10-15 minutes. You're happy with it?
Yeah, that's perfect. Just allude to that Todd Cantwell suggestion. I think Todd Cantwell would be a good addition to this Liverpool squad. I think he's young. We've seen this season he's been hungry, and I think he'd be interested to come in and play the squad role that Lallana is, more than Grealish, a player of that calibre. But as you say, it's important that players know that that's what they're going to be within the squad, and I think obviously Todd Cantwell will probably have offers from all sorts of places.
On the Jack Grealish stuff, we were talking upstairs before, and you said, would he be happy being a squad player? And you just kind of said there. Yeah. Do you think he'd rather be a squad player in a Liverpool side that's competing for titles? He will get the game time because of how midfield plays. If Lallana goes, there's space there. If Milner goes, I know he's just signing an extension or whatever, he plays a little less football or covers left back than being in a relegation battle with Aston Villa.
For me, and from what I know of Jack Grealish and for how I feel Jack Grealish is as a person, I'd say he'd rather be the star, and I think that's what suits him at Aston Villa, the fact he is that star man. I think he would rather go to a team like Tottenham or Manchester United at the minute, where he knows he's going to play and be a big player for them in their squad, than someone who comes in and gets game time every now and then. I just don't think he'd be able to deal with it.
I don't really think I'd be that arsed if we didn't get him, to be honest with you.
No, me neither. I'd rather not get him.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, a lot of people agree with you with Grealish. A lot of people think, some people think he'd be a good backup, some people think he wouldn't get in the team at all. Jamie Butterworth said he's a BTEC Jay Spearing. I think it's a pretty good shout. A little bit on Dembele as well. People saying about his attitude just doesn't fit Liverpool, but then again, Zach saying Dembele could be huge under Klopp, insane amounts of natural talent that Klopp could nurture.
Yeah, I think he's got it. I think there's a case for both, as I said before. You know, he's got attitude problems, but you know, who didn't when they were that young? And especially like if you put themselves in their shoes of been thrust into, you know, celebrity status of getting, you know, 90 grand a week or whatever. He's probably more than that. I think I'd be a dick. Well, I am a dick, but I'd be more of a dick if I was getting paid 90 grand a week, wouldn't I? Like, you know, your ego goes and you're still growing up as a footballer. And I don't think a lot of fans see footballers as humans as on top of that as well. But I also wouldn't have him.
Well, it's interesting with the whole attitude thing, because I believe it's linked to him missing training because he'd been up all night gaming or whatever.
Who's not done that?
Yeah.
Who's not gone to work the next day because
Exactly.
you're all like playing Grand Theft Auto or something?
Exactly. And the amount of times I've not gone to uni because I'm up all night. I know it's a bit
So I
different
hope
because he's
they're
getting
not
paid
watching
90
this.
grand a year
Yeah.
for that, but...
And you're paying for uni,
yeah,
mate.
exactly.
More reason to be going.
True. But, you know, he's reached a big part of his career at such a young age, hasn't he, going to Barcelona. As you say, he's found it difficult because they just want so much. We saw with Coutinho, they expect so much so quickly.
Yeah, the pressure of being a Barcelona
exactly.
is a lot, isn't it, as well?
And unless you're like a Lionel Messi, where you're like, or Mbappe, where you're a very young lad, but you're also a very world-class player, so you slide straight into the team and you do stuff, and then they don't seem to like you, do they?
To counter that argument would be, though, if you're at Dortmund, if you're at Barcelona, that's one hell of an opportunity that millions of people want to be in there, so make the most of it and grow up. Mad.
Should we move on to some of the Mbappe stuff?
Yes.
Hot Mbappe chat, yes please.
As you can imagine, there's been a few comments on that. Ricky Bell says, if Mbappe keeps a level head and Klopp can keep him grounded, then by all means sign him. We wouldn't want one of the most exciting young players around. Not worth it otherwise, we don't need any egos.
Yeah, I think the egos thing is the most important. Liverpool have got such a close-knit group, unity in terms of mentality, support. You look at, Mbappe would have to do some stuff that I'm not sure that he has to do at PSG. Look at Sadio Mane tracking back against Tottenham. It's a regular thing of Mane doing it, Bobby doing it, Salah doing it. He's going to have to instill that part into his game. I think, again, as we touched before, the wage is the big problem. If he starts coming with demands and stuff, I'm fine. I'm not going to upset the apple cart by bringing someone like that. He's always very, very good. I love him there. But don't piss off, a whole squad unity because you put in all your eggs in one basket with this fella.
My worry is you can't have the front three and Mbappe. So which one of them do we allow to go? Because that is the worry. You can have them all. Mbappe is the sort of player that would have to start. Therefore, who's the one that goes?
Play forward foot, mate.
Well, Stuart Wisby has got the solution.
Yes.
If we get Mbappe, we could play him in the 9 and Bobby could play in the 10 behind.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well. Sorted, chat, don't worry about it. But also, if you think about in 2 seasons' time, Liverpool might look to move Mohamed Salah on or something like that. You covered yourself.
That's what I'm thinking in terms of this point. I think the front three are all in the peak of their career. So to bring Mbappe in sort of this summer, I think then you'd have to do that front four, and would that affect the balance of the team?
Well, who's pushing them? Mane's on unprecedented levels of playing football. Imagine you had someone like challenging for his place. Go to them.
Yeah, Mona's had the similar opinion, to be honest, but he's saying he'd rather get Werner and Havertz in and make sure Salah stays to challenge for their positions.
You can probably get both of them for the same price.
Mbappe all day.
Mbappe, yeah.
all day.
Get it in the comments. Mbappe, or would you want Werner and Havertz instead? We're going to wrap it up there because we've been chatting for some time. Don't forget to go and check out the redmentv.com. We've got the Around the League going up later today. Stats and tactics, a final word from the Spurs game, and then later on this week we've got loads of build-up content heading towards the Man United game. On Around the League we're going to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and have a little laugh at him as well, some of the stuff that he said.
That was
Roy Hodgson-esque stuff. So go and start your free month, and if you don't like it after that, just sack it off. We'll be back tomorrow with some more news, and we'll see you then.